Hey guys, it's me. I'm coming back to you from on top of the world, as you can see, about 15 feet up. I'm going to show a completed set of windows and go over a couple things I did. Tomorrow, I'm going to be working on a set on the ground, and I'm going to try to get some video of the process. So sorry, probably making everybody dizzy. This sill right here, it was sloped inward. The outside was about a ½ inch higher than the inside, so it held water. I took a belt sander and I sanded it. Well, it slopes out. Uh, Maybe the video didn't show very well, but it slopes out just a little bit. Then I took F26 adhesive and I glued the sill to the concrete because there was actually nothing underneath it. It was just sitting there, and the water had started to push trash underneath it and hold it up. So I cleaned that trash out and glued it down. Then the sash right here, I put a 1/4 inch, actually 3/16 of an inch oak laminate. I glued it and stapled it to the window sash. I did that the entire way around. For a couple reasons. It wasn't rotted, but the outside edge had not been maintained, so the edge kind of rolled off. It wasn't a nice clean edge, and I wanted it to look good, so I went this route. The other thing is at some point somebody has came back and put double pane windows in some of these. You can see the sill in between the two glasses here. These wooden frames were never designed for double pane glass because the unit is about a ½ inch thick, and so the glass, this double pane glass, sit so close to the outside edge of the existing frame that there was nothing there to caulk it or glaze it to or anything like that. I actually caulked these in. The double pane ones, because you're not supposed to use DAP 33 glazing on a double pane window. And I have a feeling at some point they're going to have to come in and redo these anyhow. So it would be nice if they redo them to go back with single pane glass, the 1/4 inch plate glass that it was designed for. But anyways, I replaced this side up in about here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. Probably right here. I replaced this front edge part way. I replaced this back edge part of the way. I replaced part of this. Now this is all going to get painted. I shot some spray primer over it real quick to try to keep it from soaking up a bunch of water if it rains. Then on this upper sash, I had to build a whole new frame here, and then I also did the exact same thing with these edges. I laminated 3/16 oak on these edges. I replaced this board right here. Then all the single pane plate glass windows are glazed in with DAP 33 glazing. The double pane I use Dynaflex 230 Ultra, and when I do those, I actually use clear, so that way when they paint, their paint edge, they can come over however far they need to, and it gives a nice clean edge. That way you don't have white caulk smeared up on the glass or anything like that. Now at some point I will have to come back and clean these windows, because I just finished up the glazing, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks for it to skim over good enough where you can actually paint it or anything like that. But on this window, I did pretty much the same thing. I replaced a couple foot of this side here, this dowel. I replaced some of this side on the dowel. And the same thing over on these, I replaced the entire bottom was rotted out here. If you look at my other videos. And then the sill, same thing as the other window. Glued it down, took a belt sander and recut it to where it shed water. And I went through and caulked every joint. Since none of these windows are operational, they already had caulk there. Most of them were screwed shut, I think years ago, probably because that way nobody goes jumping out of them or something, I don't know. But that is a double pane glass up there. This was a double pane, but it had a crack in it, so I replaced this glass. That one up top was also a double pane. It had a crack in it, so I replaced it. All the ones that I replaced, I went back with the plate glass, 1/4-inch plate glass that the windows were made for and have as their original glass. The ones that nobody has done any work to have 1/4-inch plate glass in them. And then tomorrow I'm gonna jump down here and get started on these. Got most of the caulking cleaned off, so they're ready to be worked on. Just like the upper one, somebody has already done some work to this, like this. Their joint goes all the way across, and I will replace just pieces, but I will not make my joints line up. Like if I was gonna originally, I mean, I'm gonna have to recut this and different. But if I was doing this work, like I might replace this up to here, replace that there, this here, and this up here. That way none of these joints line up. Might have been hard to see where I was pointing, but yeah, I do not like that. And because if it starts separating, it ends up looking like that, just terrible. But a lot of this is going to have to be redone. Yeah, somebody did the same thing over here. They replaced all the way across. And they used white pine for that. So obviously white pine is not a good choice for exterior. Y'all have a good evening.